Just make sure you have 2 blocks, and if you have sensitive knees like I do, you're gonna want a cushion for your knee, okay? And we're just gonna start here, tuning into our breath and gently arriving here in our practice. So whatever you need to do to arrive, if you want to place your hands on your belly or one over the belly button and one over your heart center, you can do that. And we'll just do a quick body scan. Starting from the top of the head, working your way down the back of the head to the neck, the jawline, and your shoulders, all the way down your arms to your wrists and your fingertips. And then coming down the chest to your waistline, to your hips and your thighs, knees and shins, to your ankles, the soles of your feet and your toes. And just let out a deep breath. And then inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And sigh it out. A few more just like that. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And come back to your normal breath, but if you want to engage in ujjayi breath, just constricting the back of the throat to slow down your exhalation, you can start doing that now. So my name is Shannon. I'm going to guide you through the next 45 minutes in this yoga for strength trainers. This really is a practice for any body, but if you are someone who likes to hit the gym or lift weights at home as well, this class is focused on that practice as well, and just finding a balance between that strength training and that lengthening of the legs and activation as well when you are strength training. And I'm going to introduce the theme that we're working with this week in my classes. So we're still working in the kleshas, so the root causes of suffering and the foundations of yoga and the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And now we're on Dvesha, which is basically our aversion to things that we don't like. So throughout class, I just want us to observe when we're in a pose and we're resisting. We have an aversion to ourselves in that pose. And I'm going to choose a couple of poses today that I know from feedback that people don't love. But just this klesha in particular isn't saying that your aversion is bad, because sometimes we avert things that are actually dangerous for us. Okay? So it's not ignoring your intuition. What it is just observing when there is an aversion and asking yourself why it exists, and seeing, maybe if this is something that you can step into, this discomfort. And if you do, would that stepping into that discomfort allow you to grow? Okay. So let's take a deep breath in, reaching the arms overhead, bringing your legs together. Nice. And then we're going to bring the right knee into the chest, keeping the left leg long and the heel relaxed down. So this class will always start with some dynamic movements. So we're going to gently pull the leg in towards you and then gently relax it. Pulling it in and then relaxing. So we'll start with dynamic movements for the first half of this class, and then we'll move into more static poses. Okay, so just think about this as more fluid in the beginning, that you can move and flow in these micro movements with your breath as we gently open up the body and build strength and elasticity in the joints. All right, interlace the fingers underneath your hamstring, and we're gonna have a soft bend in our knee as we gently pull the leg towards us, and then straighten the heel up toward the ceiling as the leg moves slightly away. And then bend the knee a little bit, pull the leg in, and then straighten. Just bend and straighten that right leg. Keeping your foot flexed. Nice. And now keep that leg straight and as straight as you can have it. We're going to start to draw circles with the right foot. You can point your toes and draw imaginary circles into the ceiling, the air around you. And when you're ready, start to draw in opposite directions. Nice. And then we're gonna rebend that knee and then bring your arms out to the sides. We're gonna kick that leg back up and then slowly lower the heel down toward the mat, engaging the core. Nice. And then allowing the heel to rest on the earth and just relax your whole body for a moment. You can even shake out the feet. Nice. And then we're going to bring the left knee into the chest, interlacing the fingers onto our shin bone. And again, ebbing and flowing with the breath as you pull that leg in and gently relax it out. Nice. And then we'll extend the heel up toward the ceiling. Same, bending and straightening the leg, flexing your foot. Beautiful. And then straight that leg as much as you can. We'll start to draw circles with the toe pointed. Yeah, getting into the ankle. Nice. And then once again, bend the knee, pull it in. And then straighten the leg back up to the ceiling. And then nice and slow, drop the heel toward the earth. Beautiful. And then landing it down. Once again, relax the body, open up your arms. And you can roll over to one side, tucking the knees in. And we're slowly going to push ourselves up to hands and knees. So hands below shoulders, knees under hips. Hello. We're going to start to move in a cat-cow. So dropping the belly, inhale, look up. Exhale and round the spine. Inhale up. Exhale, round. Nice. Spreading your fingers wide in the mat. You look good, yeah. Nice. So yoga allows us to check in with our bodies and just noticing if there's any imbalances as we move side to side. So just observing that today as well. All right, we're gonna come to a neutral spine tabletop, and we're just simply gonna extend our left leg out, keeping the foot flexed, toes pointing down, heel in line with your sit bone. Try to keep your hips even. And if you want, you can also reach your right arm out. Holding here, keeping your gaze down, back of the neck long. We'll bring the right hand down. Left knee comes down, and we're going to switch sides. The right leg extends, foot flexes, maybe the left arm reaches. One more breath. And then bring the left hand down, right knee. Now make sure your knees are just below the hips and as wide as the hips. And we're gonna walk our hands forward and bow down to the mat into puppy pose. So forehead can come to the mat, arms are shoulder width, palms plant down, and you're trying to draw your forearms towards the mat, maybe even your elbows. Now, if you have the flexibility, you can also come up onto your chin and look between your thumbs. Nice. You can bring your chin down if you want. Yeah. Oh. And then, sorry. Oh, look between your thumbs if you want. If you have the flexibility. Sorry, I realize it's hard to say that out loud. Nice. And just observe if you're feeling any sense of aversion to any of the poses offered here today. And we're going to start to plant our hands down into the mat, rising up, and then coming down onto our forearms, elbows just below the shoulders. We're gonna walk our feet back behind us and come into a plank. And keeping our hips in line with our shoulders, but our core is engaged to support the low back, and your gaze is just ahead of your fingertips here. If you need to lower your knees, you can do so. Nice. Start to melt the hips toward the earth and come up into a Sphinx pose. So anchoring your hips down, I want you to grip the mat and pull the shoulder heads down and back. A mild compression for the low back. Nice. And then we're going to come back into that low forearm plank. So tuck your toes and then lift back up. So we're going to do this a few times, building heat and strength. And lower the hips down. Find your Sphinx pose. And then tuck your toes, come back to your plank. Lower your hips down, rise up. And then fan your elbows out to the side, bring your forehead to the mat, and bring your hands below your shoulders. Squeeze the elbows in. We're gonna come up into one cobra. So if you wanna widen your legs a little bit, you can here. We're gonna lift up, pressing into the hands just a little bit, shoulder heads back. And so we're building strength in our core from the back side. See if you can really press your pelvis into the mat. Maybe that helps give you a little bit more lift. And then we're gonna lower down and come into a child's pose. So bring your big toes together, knees apart, reach your arms forward. Deep breath here. Remembering to stay fluid, so moving with the breath, just these micro movements. You can sway your hips, you can move your head. Nice. We're slowly going to come up into a downward facing dog. So hands are shoulder width apart, feet hip distance. Lift your hips up high to the sky and start with a soft bend in the knees. So knees intend toward the earth as you press your tailbone up toward the sky. Head is relaxed in between your arms. And then making sure that 70% of your weight is in your feet. You can walk your hands back a little bit closer to your toes, and then work on straightening your legs, pressing those hips up and back. Nice. Breathe here. And we'll just bend one knee and then the other. Nice. Slowly, we're going to come back to our neutral stance. We're going to step our feet up to our hands, coming to the top of our mat. Get nice and heavy. Bend your knees as much as you need to. We're going to do a little flow here. So we're going to come up halfway on our inhales, lengthening the crown of the head forward, and then squeezing your shoulder blades together. Okay, think about flat back. So someone could balance a tray of sushi on your back or something like that. And then we're going to drop the sushi and come down to our forward fold with a soft bend around the knees. Inhale, rise back up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Press your hips back, engage your glutes, and then exhale, fold, soften just a little bit. Inhale up, engage. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. This time we're going to sweep the arms all the way up to stand. Tadasana. Palms come together. Now I want us to press the front of our hip bones forward as we lean back. I'm going to do a little back bend here. Nice. And then we're going to come back to neutral stance. Push your arms out to the side and drop them by your waist. We're drawing the shoulders up to the ears and down the back. Nice. Widen your stance a little bit more. We're going to interlace the fingers. Okay. Palms come together as much as you can. We're going to have a soft bend in the knees and fold forward. Lifting those knuckles high and work on straightening your legs as you drop the head down. We're going to bend the right knee and straighten the left leg and look over your left shoulder. And then switch legs. And move side to side, staying fluid. And we'll drop the hands down. Bring your feet below your hips, toes face forward. Bring your hands also to the outer edges of your feet as you sit your hips down. Now think about drawing your shoulder blades together, having that flat back like we were doing before. And then we're going to rise up nice and slow, coming into a chair pose. Nice. Arms in line with your ears and sit your booty down. Now, with your feet, I want you to imagine pressing down and away from the center line, activating your glutes even more. You got that? And now pressing through your heels, we're going to come all the way up to stand. Palms come together, come into that back bend. Okay, straighten it out, press the palms away. And come to stand in Tadasana. Take a deep breath here. We're going to do that a few times. Inhale, we're going to interlace the fingers, right? Interlacing. Yeah, fold forward. Bend one knee and then the other. And then straighten both legs, drop your hands by your sides. Draw the shoulder blades together. Okay, so activating that space in between the shoulder blades, the upper back. We're gonna sit down into our chair and then lift the arms up, keeping them in line with the shoulders. Keep hugging those shoulder blades down and back and weight in your heels. You guys get this activation? Can you feel it? Okay. Yeah, okay. Are we noticing any aversion? We're gonna come all the way up to stand. Yes. Palms, right? And then draw them back down, relaxing the arms by your sides. We're just gonna do one more. Take a deep breath in. And let it go. All right, again, inhale, reach up. And then as we fold, we're gonna interlace the fingers behind us. Fold down. Bend your right knee. And then your left. Straighten both your legs, bring your arms by your sides. Draw the shoulder blades together, flat back. So upper back's engaged, sitting down into your chair, lift your arms up, keeping that upper back engagement now working into the glutes as well. And then gentle pull with the heels away from the midline. So I always think of yoga like a spin bike class. You know, the instructor can give you the guidance to do all these little extras, right? To turn it up. But it's up to you how far you want to go with that engagement. All right, but finding or noticing that aversion and trying to sit with the discomfort a little longer than you'd like. And then we're gonna stand up, palms together, slight back bend. And release your arms by your sides. Take a deep breath in and out. All right. We're gonna move through a modified sun series. So reach your arms up, inhale. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step your right leg back. You can support the knee with your cushion. And you can grab both of your blocks and we're gonna frame the front foot. You can bend your knee. Now you can walk that foot a little bit forward. That's kind of what I'd like you to do, just so that your knee stays over the heel, but we have a lot more to work with in getting into the right hip. Okay, so the further we walk that foot forward, the more sensation we're gonna experience. So find that edge. Nice. Because we're still in the dynamic part of our class, we're gonna straighten the front leg and come back to our low lunge. Nice. Straighten and bend. And we'll come forward again, staying low. Now you can flip your block around if you like, and just make sure you have a good solid grip. Our left hand's gonna come to our thigh, and we're gonna twist and look over the shoulder with the option of kicking that heel in towards you and grabbing for the top of the foot. We're just gonna hold here for 3 deep breaths, rolling the right shoulder open by drawing the bicep, the right bicep, to face the front of your mat. And then we're gonna relax the grip of the foot. You can just equalize your blocks here. so that they're both the same size. And we're gonna straighten both our legs coming into a pyramid pose. Okay, you can stagger your feet. That back foot is down at a 45-degree angle. So we're gonna fold and melt on the exhales, and then we're gonna bend our knee and rise up nice and slow into a warrior one. Palms come together, coming into that back bend as we open through the front body. And then we're gonna fold again, find the blocks, melt forward. Nice, coming up nice and slow. And down. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up. Exhale and fold. Now we're going to stay here with the option of floating the left arm up into a twist. Nice. And lower the hand down. We're going to move our blocks to the side and step back into a plank. And so high plank now, top of a push-up. Think of engaging that upper back, just like we've been doing by drawing those shoulder heads together and down the back. The eyes are lifted and engaged. And then lower the knees down. We're going to come all the way down to the mat. Now, we're going to press up into an upward facing dog. So you're going to walk your hands to your lower ribs. Zip your legs together. We're going to come up onto the tops of the feet. Core is engaged, so we support the low back. Shoulders down the back as well. You can look off the tip of the nose or up to the ceiling. And then flipping over the toes, come into a downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. All right, we're gonna lift our left leg high to the sky and step the foot in between the hands. Now stagger your feet. This time we're coming up into crescent lunge. So the back heel is lifted, hips are squared forward, arms are raised. Kiss the palms together, come into that back bend. Nice. And then straighten out. We're gonna bring the palms to the heart and then find a place to rest your gaze. We're gonna pick up the right knee. Okay. And we're gonna wrap the leg around, the right leg around the left. It's okay if you just bind once, okay? If you can, maybe tuck the toes behind the calf. And then the left arm is gonna come underneath the right. You can kiss palms or bring your hands to your shoulders. We're gonna sit down and back into eagle pose. Nice. Work on squeezing your joints together and breathing into the discomfort. And slowly straightening out, coming into a Tadasana with wide legs, reaching tall. Nice. And then we're just gonna whoosh, let it go. Inhale up. Exhale, whoosh, let it go. One more. Whoosh. Nice. Coming all the way up. And then rest your palms by your sides as we pause in Tadasana. Get settled for a moment here. Nice, and we'll continue on the left side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Fold. Left leg steps back. You're gonna lower your knee down and find your blocks. Taking your time to get settled, wiggling that foot forward if you need to, go a little bit deeper. Nice, making sure you're stacking your joints. And then when you're set up, we're gonna work on straightening the leg, toes curl up. And then again, dip in the knee, forward and back. Let's do one more, coming forward, pause. Find a stable position with your left hand. We'll start to twist and look over the right shoulder. Maybe you grab for your foot. And we'll release the foot. And you're gonna step the left foot in as we straighten both our legs. You can push your prop to the side if you need to. So we're coming into pyramid pose. So your right hip draws back, you're folding over your right thigh. And then we're gonna move with our breath. So on the inhale, bend the knee so it's over the heel, rise up into your warrior one. Exhale, straighten both your legs and fold, find your blocks. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up. Exhale, release. And up. We'll do one more. And fold. And then keeping the left hand down, option to come into the twist, reaching the right arm up as you hug your hip back in space. Nice, and then coming to a fold, we're gonna step back into a plank pose. And holding here. Nice. And then let's lower down and rising up into an upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Lifting your right leg high to the sky. We're gonna step the foot in between the hands and come up into our crescent lunge. Palms are gonna kiss. Coming into a back bend as you push your front body forward. Nice. And straightening out, palms to the heart center, find a focal point. We're gonna pick up the left knee and then wrap the leg around the right. The right arm's gonna come under the left. And grab for opposite elbows or shoulders rather. And sit down as low as you can go, squeezing your joints together. So are you causing your suffering by fighting what is? How can you surrender? How can you find freedom in the movements that cause discomfort? We'll slowly start to straighten and come into Tadasana. Nice. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, let it go. And up. Let that discomfort go. One more time. Coming up and then back to your Tadasana. We're going to widen our stance, so heels come in, toes very slightly out, but if you can, keep your toes straight in line with your heels. We're going to come down into Malasana. Arms on the inside of the legs. Gently squeeze your arms in as you push away. Can you be more present with what you're experiencing right now? What's holding you back? What are you clinging to? What are you avoiding? We're going to come all the way down. Hug the knees into the chest. Nice. We are going to use one block at the end, so keep one close. We're going to make our way down to the mat by starting in Navasana or boat pose. So you can keep a grip of the legs, or you can relax the arms to the sides, shoulders down the back. And try to find steadiness here, even when the body's shaking. All right, let's come all the way down, release. Awesome, okay. So we're gonna lift our legs up and place the block underneath our sit bone. Sit bones are, our sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of your spine. So just as we started class in wind relieving pose, we're gonna do that here with the block to assist us in going a little deeper. So just experiment with straightening your left leg and see how that feels. And if you're feeling all right with that, you're gonna pull the right knee into the chest. You can interlace your fingers behind the hamstring or onto your shin and gently guide that leg toward you. Now, if this is too much for your low back, you can remove the block and do it as we did in the beginning of class. Or you can also experiment with bending your knee and placing the sole of the foot down. Just breathe here. And so a little bit different with the block is it's encouraging more opening through the front of your left hip while you're compressing through the right side. So if you want, you can even just grip the shin with the right hand, and your left hand can gently press down in front of your left hip, drawing and encouraging that hip flexor to lengthen and open. Nice, and then we're just gonna switch, so be really mindful. We'll slowly extend the right leg and then interlace the fingers onto the left shin or hamstring, with the option of placing the right hand on top of the thigh. Nice, and then stamping both your feet down, we're gonna lift our hips up and move the block to the side. We're gonna come into a happy baby. So pulling the knees outside the rib cage or grabbing for the outer edges of your feet, drawing the knees down as the heels draw up. And when you're ready, just bring your legs down, feet on the edges of your mat, arms open up, and just drop the knees into the center one by one, like windshield wipers. Nice. And when you're ready, extend the heels out, toes flop open, arms come by your side, but creating space away from the body. Palms soften, fingertips curl in. Eyes can be closed. Returning to that sense of awareness as you arrive here in your body in this moment. And just notice if even here, if you have an aversion to this stillness at the end of this class, can you soften and surrender to this place? And craving and aversion arise when the senses encounter sense objects. Do not fall prey to these two brigands blocking your path. And that's from the Bhagavad Gita. When you're ready, start to move fingers and toes. You can reach your arms overhead and bring your legs together. And slowly roll to one side. Make your way up to a seat when you're ready. Press the palms at the heart center. Elbows can lift. Remembering we can take what we learn here on our mat out into our day-to-day lives. So noticing when you have aversion, Dvesha, and staying curious, investigating why that aversion exists. Remembering first to listen to your intuition and avert danger. But if the aversion is simply something that's preventing us from growing because we're resisting discomfort. See if you can push past through that. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, healthy, and free. Namaste. Thanks for joining me online and in studio.